No, no, not in any way.
Really?
Okay.
No, and I gave them good reasons to be what they are. When we started this thing, there was no pointers, there was no managerial, no direction. Nobody told us anything about fame. We were barely kids. I started doing this when I was barely 21.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 20 actually, 21. I just finished college, just got my first degree. I was off to do my master's when I discovered this, discovered my life calling, and I say, you know what, let's go with. Let me see what this has to hold for me. I was excommunicated from my family at that time.
Really?
Yes, yes. My dad told me, listen, continue our path. If you know anything about the Igbo parent, especially the African, continue. They thought I was going to throw my life away, in essence. But I wanted to do this. And at that time, there was nothing. We had a little bit of, all of a sudden, we're millionaires before we're 22, and there was nobody. The arrogance came, the misdemeanor came. There's nobody that could school us about the responsibility that came with this. And then we misbehaved a lot. And we got judged by it a lot.
Yeah.
But a lot of us also grew up. A lot of us came to understand the responsibility that's been entrusted to us. A lot of us carried on to the next realm of life properly. But we already labeled a certain way. And the country I come from, trust me, emotions rise very high once they have an understand, once they have a concretized opinion of you. And it's hard to. So after a while, I understood it for what it was. Do I go all out to start some sort of damage control, to start punitive measures in any sense? No, it took too much energy. So my focus was my immediate realm, the nuclear family that understood me, that I would gain a lot by giving them a wrong impression of me, and I focused very intensively on them, and I think I grew with them. So it really didn't matter what anybody outside that box thought. I didn't. That frame of reference was solely theirs to deal with.
It means you don't really
Right.
care what they think.
And how many people's opinion can you change of you? If you don't want people to talk about you, have an opinion about you, stay at home. If you want to change the narrative, be prepared.
Okay, so we're streaming live on the Joy News Entertainment page. So you can watch us if you want to see Jim Ike's face, if you haven't seen his face enough in your life. But you're talking about the press and the fact that they give you bad press. And, the fact that earlier on in your life you've maybe fueled, this press with your behavior. There's an article that's gone viral on BBC News, The Pigeon, about you getting into a fight quite recently.
Yes.
The article says that they're not clear about what the altercation was. We're not going to ask you what the altercation was. But when the press is reporting, that this gentleman who looks very respectable and all of that is getting into fights still, then is it bad press? Or
No,
is
it's
there
not.
a part
It's
of
not
you
bad
that's still...
press, and it's a very good question if you allow me. The truth is that we're all humans. Not my finest hour, I dare say, but emotions run high. Why does it have to be the public figure that is held accountable all the time, that is held at the higher standards of moral ethics all the time? We all get into arguments, don't we? We're all humans. We all go to have a conversation. I didn't wake up in the morning and I walk into this gentleman's studio and decided to have an altercation with him. Don't forget, something provoked that incident already. This is a man that called into question my integrity in the first place, that said I'm a ritualist, that's how I live the life I live, the quality of life I live. I'm a man that, this man said that they should check the means of my wealth, that the quality of life and the things that I own obviously has to have nefarious background, questionable background, that I'm a ritualist. Okay? This is someone that lives in a country where we have the most corrupt leaders of all times. That's in the history of corrupt leaders. Nigerians take the mantle. We decide what corrupt leaders should look like. Where you understand? Seriously, we're the poster child for corrupt leaders.
Yeah.
And then
Interesting.
you pick a man that since his 20s has walked till his early 40s to say you question the quality of life he lives. I went there to have a conversation because I'm a student of history. I'm a humanist. I want to understand the reason behind the reason. Why would you wake up in the morning and the first order of business for you is how to pull another person down? I wasn't the only one that was called into this picture, they say. He called 3 or 4 other people. So I wanted to also prove a point that you can't stay behind the curtains and do these things and think nobody will find you. My point was to tell him I can find anybody I want anytime.
And you can confront them.
I have will, I have resources.
Did you get the answers that you wanted?
Absolutely. And when
Okay.
we went in there, we had a conversation. Things, of course, took a turn for the worse. And yeah, I mean, went south a little bit. That was the picture the press needed to sensationalize it. They didn't catch where we sat down. We had a conversation like men, popped a bottle of wine, drank to our health, and got it over with. The generation I come from, my dear, we don't do the social media exchanges and pull-ups. I don't know how to do it. I'm a man. I don't know about this peace, for lack of better term. I
Okay.
walk up to a man if I have a situation with you. We converse about it. We intellectually converse about it. If it degenerates into altercations, we raise our fist. After that, we sit down, we drink beer, and then we do business after.